Hello, hello, welcome to today's messages. My name is Amy, and we tap into the frequencies of the world here and get messages from our higher selves. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. 432 healing hearts coming in live. I guess it's not live. It is for me right now. Okay, let's do it. So we'll see what the Octudians have for us. To start with, there's one. There's one. What's this? What's this one again? Didn't it come up yesterday? Is it... I can't remember. Openness? No. Blueprint. Yes. Delete anything that no longer suits you and serves no purpose anymore. We are balanced. We are returning to how and what and where we were always meant to. Our divine blueprint, our soul's path, our mission that we set out, that we came onto this earth at this place and time to achieve. And I feel like for the majority of us, that is maintaining the resonance, the frequency of love. We maintain that. Yes. I was thinking about the blueprint. It's like we come in fully as we were meant to be. This idea of like the tabula rasa, right? Where you come in as a blank slate and then your external circumstances, environment, influences, all these things shape us, right? And I feel like that's a part of it. But if we were just to stick with that analogy, right? We are conditioned to be and believe and see the world in a certain way based on the environmental circumstances and how we are raised and nurtured, right? And part of the rebirthing process, to be reborn, is to, and this blueprint is to strip away, to recognize all those programs, all those conditions that were set upon us that have clouded or created chaos on our blank slate. And so this is about the return to your blank slate. And when it came up the other day, this idea, it was clarity of mind so that you can receive insights, messages from your higher self, right? You're more clearly able to recognize when a message appears, when there's nothing all over your board, right? When you walk into a room and you have a whiteboard that is always constantly covered in scribbles, right? You're not necessarily going to catch that new little scribble that's on the top corner. But if your slate was clean and you walk into the room, just like a black dot on a white wall, your eye immediately goes to it. And so you receive the messages, right? But we'll see what this return, this blueprint, it's also to balance, right? To recognize, to be able to hear, to be able to discern, and to see when we need to be and when we need to do. Because we are in this beautiful balanced state of receiving and taking action. And the difference to know, the wisdom to know the difference. Okay. Let's ask the runes to come and support this blueprint. Oh, we got a flipper. And it's manners. Community, family, kinship, collaborations, success, abundance, maybe. Let's see. We'll just read it. How about manners? Humanity, intelligence, awareness, society, and learning. Okay, so this is it. This is what we learn, what we've been conditioned to learn, and then an unlearning of what we have learned, right? I'm also getting like you need to know the rules of a system. You need to understand the system in order to find the loopholes, find the weak points, know what rules are in place for the good of all and which ones are generalized and can be bent and some can be broken, right? And so having an understanding, this is that the filling it up and then emptying it out process is what I'm getting, and how this affects, right? The more you unlearn the things that aren't serving, right? You are clearing a pathway, creating an alternative that others can be inspired by, or one way or the other, right? Inspired to recreate, to do, or to not do, to be or not to be. That is the question. It's true. If you can't be, do. If you can't do, be. This is balance. This is masculine, feminine balance within. Okay. Okay, messages. Community. I also feel like community, family, this is like soul tribe. This is people who are connected and placed around the globe in order to act as node connectors, right? And this is why this journey for most of us is a very solitary one. We can't have us all grouped in one area because then we just have one node, right? We need to be dispersed to create a wider impact on the tethering process. What are we tethering? Higher frequency, 5D 5D, abundance mindset. Although I wouldn't necessarily call it a mindset. It's a recreation. It's a shift. It's a choosing. Because we're expanding, so that is not set, right? It's forever expanding. It's a frequency. Okay. Did I shuffle? I don't know. We've got Empress. Okay, yes, this is your choice here. Choosing to hold the frequency of love and receiving and birthing. Okay, it always comes down to the choice. What are you anchoring in every moment? What are you fueling? What are you tethering? But if you're here, you're tethering love. But it's a process. We get better at it as we go. And we're also living in this world, and this world is dichotomously. It's just very much signs and synchronicities. I'm gonna put that one down and decided just to look at it. Okay. So this King of Swords also flipped. So this is about shifting worlds, recreating worlds, choosing worlds with our balance. Okay, we got the triangle in the circle representing this masculine feminine balance, and it's a wand, right? So it's your magic is fueled or supported by balance, by your beingness and your doingness, right? Also, your ability to receive signs and synchronicities from your spirit team. Having the clear message board in order to receive the messages. And then the King of Swords here is the discernment, the one who acts upon the signs and synchronicities and also has the discernment to know what is and what isn't, right? And cuts away and releases, cleans the board when it gets too chaotic, right? When things start to appear on the board, oh, that's somebody else's doubts and fears. Oh, that's an old doubt and fear or limiting belief. And oh, this one, yes, that's a message from my divine spirit team, right? So I'll act on that one. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's the work. That is the work. It takes work because we are in this balanced dualistic world, right? And so it feels good to teeter, to be balanced, but then to lose balance and then to regain balance, right? This is how we move. This is how we evolve. This is the role of the shadow of adversity. It is meant to strengthen, to expand, to create scenarios so that we are challenged, which helps our expansion. It is what makes things interesting and worthwhile, right? The unknown, surprise, delight, these things, when you are omnipresent, when you are able to create at a whim and a manifest, it starts to get, I don't know, boring. So I think this is what this Earth School expansion for souls is all about, because it puts us into an environment where we are restricted, right? It's like when you're playing a video game on easy, it's only so fun for so long, and then eventually you want to create challenges, right? So like I have this game that I used to, it's one of my old favorites, the Uncharted series, and it has explorer mode, right? It has easy mode, it has medium mode, it has hard mode, and then it has crushing mode, right? And so depending on what kind of challenges, so the crushing mode, you get hit one time, 1.5 times, you die, right? Whereas the exploratory mode, you can get hit a bunch of times and you're not going to die, because it's more about getting through. It's not so much about the combat. The challenges are downplayed, and then you go up to crushing, right? So instead of, 10 adversaries, it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, or 50, or whatever, right? And so, I mean, we see this in the gaming world, and we are just a reflection of that, right? This is our avatar that we chose to play, and this is the game that we're playing. And there are certain, our soul blueprint are the things that the gameplay feature, the mode levels, whatever that we set before we started the game. Okay, yeah, these are the challenges that have shaped and that we've worked through. Okay, confrontations. It's this, it's like the struggles that we have to overcome, that enable us to recognize how powerful, how resilient, um, how adaptable, whatever the case may be for us, right? It's all part of it. It's all part of it. We're all playing a part in our own and also in and collectively. This is the great orchestration, right? This is why tapping in to your higher self is kind of like an awareness, or creating a dialogue with the version of you that's got the controller, right? That knows it's a game and can see things from a different perspective, right? Sometimes, you're going along, and as you're rappelling down a embankment, you catch a glimpse of a treasure down that way, but you're already heading down this way, right? And then something happens and you die, and now you have to respawn and start back here. And you could be like, oh man, I gotta start all over from this spot again. Or you can be like, oh, well, this gives me an opportunity to take a different route and go pick up that treasure before I rappel down, right? Something like that. Okay. And then we've got the Seven of Wands. So reaching your goal, I think it is a goal to, awareness is your goal, right? To be aware, to be conscious, to consciously create, consciously move and engage. And you had to go through the adversity process as part of your work, right? to get to a place where you recognize and understand and even have gratitude towards all of the previous adversities that got you to now, right? This is the thing, to be totally at peace with your now, you have to be at peace with everything that brought you here. Otherwise, it's not truly peace, right? Because there's a recognition in your peace that all of the steps were necessary to get you here. Okay. It also, because it's right underneath the King of Swords here, it was a necessary process for you to develop the discernment necessary to create worlds, your world, and to be able to receive, to discern, because there's a lot of frequencies around. And this tuning process, this getting good at tuning and what you are tuning into. Okay, we got ships coming in here. Okay, so you're tuning into the frequency of receiving. You're tuning into becoming one able to receive information, to receive divine insights, to receive gifts from anywhere, to receive a freaking compliment. Okay. We also have this consciously moving yourself out of choppy waters into calmer waters. You need a certain level of awareness that you are even in choppy waters. When choppy waters is all we have known, we assume that that's just the way life is, right? It becomes a baseline. And this awareness, this work, this process, it helps you to see that you can actually reset your baseline with effort, right? You can choose. Maybe you got a glimpse. Maybe you are tired of looking around and seeing other people enjoying their life in calm waters. And then you're like, why are my waters so choppy? What's going on here? I want to be over there where they are. And this recognition that you're the only one. You know, they're too far away and they don't care, right? When you're like, hey, come pick me up, they can't see you. So this is your active participation in moving yourself away from the choppy waters into the calmer waters. This has been part of your work here. This is also a leaving behind the old defenses that were put in place to keep you safe in the choppy waters. Right? You need to have stabilizers on your boat set out in order to. Stabilizers are counterweights that you extend out on either side of the boat, and it helps kind of keep it from rocking and flopping and flipping. And when you move into calmer waters, you no longer need to have those weights out. You can pull them back in and even get rid of them because now the waters are calm. And so the need for those defenses are no longer, right? And this is part of this 9, getting to the end, is this recognition that the old ways no longer serve, right? Because you are still You want to move beyond the confines of your defense mechanisms. You want to become an overflowing cup, okay? There's no access to liquid sunshine when you are in an impenetrable field. Impenetrable field. Okay, yeah. This is the makings of stardom. Okay, the star strips naked and heals themselves. This is what makes them a star. The star recognizes that they are covered in goo and does what's necessary to strip and clean the goo away to reveal their star shining self, which they always were at the center, right? It's like we come into this world shining, and all of our conditionings, all of our programs that are put in place, passed on, and imposed upon um, from generation to generation, right? This is someone who caught a glimpse of their internal shine and then made it their mission in life to put in the work to chip away at all of the codings, to go back to your baseline, to your blueprint, to who you were always, a star. Overflowing liquid sunshine, because stars are suns. People forget, okay? We got this wish coming out, something you have wished for landing on your ships here. So you have a wish coming in, a wish coming true, whatever that is for you. A wish of being seen, being recognized, being chosen, being loved, being peaceful, being harmonious, being your authentic you. Whatever your wishes, okay, are deemed worthy. You have done enough of the work to be deemed worthy to receive this wish. Okay? And this is it. This is the reciprocating relationship that you have with the universe, because by doing this, you are leading a way. By shining, you are becoming a beacon. You are an example. You are connecting your tether to your soul family who are also doing this work across the globe, right? And these efforts are rewarded, and it's nothing personal. It's for any who do the work, right? And so, but it is hard to do the work. It's hard to do the work. And even if you want to do the work, sometimes life circumstances don't really allow you to do it. And so it takes a little bit longer. It looks different. And this is why we can't use any of our precious energy or starshine or power on where somebody else is at on their journey, in the judgment, in the comparison, because sometimes a person can jump from 1 to 50 in 5 years, right? Where it took somebody else 50 years to get from 1 to 50, right? We all are moving in our own way. We all have our divine blueprints on when we're supposed to come online, what is supposed to trigger us. And also, consider if you are one of the ones who took a little bit longer, you were a steady frequency lighting the way, right, for the other people. You were the reason why it only takes another person 5 years to do what it took you 50 years to do, right? Because you've already created the pathway. So it was easier to step into. You already created the neuro network or the pathway. Yeah. So that was a bit of a rant. Okay. What else? This one. We got the devils. Okay. Yes. Shadow integration, shadow work, adversaries, all very, very important part of the whole here. Okay. I'm just going to put this over by the dragon, because the dragon is going to burn away, cleanse, and clear, and shed light upon the shadow, the unknown, the darkness. Our beautiful, powerful imagination is the only thing to fear, right? The saying, what is the saying? The only thing to fear is fear itself. Something like that. But your imagination, how you fill in the blanks, right? When you are scared, when you're a child and you are looking into the dark corner and you can't see what's there, your brain, your imagination can put all kinds of scary things in that corner. But when you flick on the light or you shine a flashlight into the corner, you see that it was just, a shirt on a chair or something. And then you're relieved because you're like, oh, it was nothing. But this acknowledgement, this recognition, like how powerful your brain is, that it instilled you with so much fear when it was nothing, right? And so part of integrating your shadow is facing your fears, facing those shadow versions of yourself that you turn a blind eye to, that you don't want to see, that you don't want to face. And in the process of doing this, you get really good at confronting the dark and the shadows and shining light upon it and seeing it for what it is. And usually it's nothing, right? And this is part of your power. And you become this sun where everywhere you look, shadows disappear and you're shown what is. And nothing is scary. Nothing's scary. Okay, nothing to be afeared about. Okay, that was another. There's another one. Okay, what do we got here? We've got the Emperor. Okay, and the Nine of Cups. This is that emotional regularity. This is that focusing and acting upon all things that support a regulated nervous system. This is not entertaining the darkness for so long that it affects your nervous system. This is the recognition, the highlighting, the shedding the light upon, the acting, the being like, okay, there's something scary in this corner. What is it? It's nothing. Perfect. Move on with my life, right? Instead of, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this other thing. I don't know. I'm just going to sit here in my bed under my blankets for 4 days, right? So emotional regularity is very important. Let's get something else on this devil here. on the adversaries, also because it came before the Emperor and the Nine of Cups, the Emperor also makes sacrifices. So trusting your nervous system on all things that come towards you before moving, going, doing, engaging, right? If you're given an opportunity that makes you go, ugh, that feels like it's not going to be fun, then don't do it, right? Okay, a bunch of cards came out here. Okay. So we've got the power of your voice and your thoughts coming together to fill your cup, but also to manifest, to make manifest, because in the cup, the overflow grows, right? It's like your overflow births seeds or fertilizes the seeds that are already sown. And your emotional regularity mixed in with your starshine, your sunshine, is what fills your cup, okay? But it's also a balance and a congruency between what you are saying and what you are thinking, because we can say whatever and think something completely different, right? Incongruency. But this is about a union of your thoughts and your minds, your beliefs. I am powerful. I believe this to be true, and so it is, right? And even that saying, so it is an undeniable certainty. There's no room for debate, for doubt, for fears, right? It is just as it is. And if you're not sure, then take some time to figure it out, to feel it out, to consider. And that's what moves things forward. That's what creates the wind that moves your vessel or brings your ships in. Both of those things. Okay, so part of this work is recognizing your power and your self-analysis, right? I feel like is there. Okay, but was that the devil, the doubts? Well, yeah, your doubts interrupt what you think or what you say, which affects your flow. Okay, yeah, there's your balance. Okay, so I'm getting that light and shadow, the tempering, the balancing, the process, trusting in the process. And I did go off about the importance of adversary in the strengthening and the expanding in this world, right? It's like it's part of the process. But being conscious of its process and not unconscious, right? Think about strength training. You endure a lot of struggle and resistance and all of these things, but you choose to do it and you take yourself to places consciously, right? For effect, for expansion, for growth, for whatever your reasons. And it's different than what would be it's different than unconscious. You know what I'm saying. Okay. let's get a couple animal oracles here. We got the panther coming out. Okay, cards. Okay, they're being weird. Okay, we got the panther and the camel. Both fire. Annihilation of the unnecessary and purging. Okay, so this leads us back to the divine blueprint, which is to delete and release old programs that no longer serve. The panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc, with the ultimate intention of bringing us towards more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating, but after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences, and they've made us better people. Trust that the panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. Okay, and this is a recognition of your adversaries and the roles that they play. This is the choosing, right? The choosing with the Empress, those two cards that came up at the beginning, and maintaining the frequency. So when adversary rears its head, when something accounted for, unplanned for, like a flat tire on your way to work, or we'll just run with that, right? Something, right? Unexpected. And you can get really upset. You can choose to get really upset about this. You can choose to clench fists and ask the gods, why did this have to happen to you? You are such a loving and caring person, and, all these things. Or you can choose to recognize that it is a switch up of your usual. It is pulling in new energy. This it's, think of it as a side quest, right? Where you might pick up a tool or a treasure or something that will help you later on down the road. This is also how the universe brings people together, brings, right, somebody who is happening to drive by and they've got time and a wrench or a crowbar or whatever, and so they pull over, and now we've got two paths crossing that wouldn't have if it wasn't for this instance, right? So this is part of that rewriting and this connecting with your higher self, this recognition of this game, and a switch in how you engage in it, knowing that it's all part of the process and trusting it. And so maybe when those unforeseen circumstances happen out of your control, to move with it as if it were an adventure, right? As if it were a side quest, as if it were something exciting unfolding that you just couldn't have planned or thought about with. Yes. Okay. When in balance, brave and productive. When out of balance, self-destructive. And that's it, right? No, why? Now you're sitting on the side of the road. Now you're hammering fists. Now the guy or that person that was driving by that was going to stop and helps you sees you flailing, and they're like, never mind. And they keep going, right? Who knows? You just never know. But you end up making your life a lot more. This leads you away from this emotional regularity, right? And you want to not be there. And if you do feel the feelings, right, to consider them, to look at them and be like, I'm feeling this way. I can continue to feel this way and stay in this choppy waters, or I can choose to receive it differently and move myself into calmer waters. Okay, to bring into balance, get rid of the unnecessary. Okay, camel, resourceful, independent, and knows oneself. The camel can handle absolutely anything and carries a wealth of nourishment within. This wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenge with ease. Beautiful. Even in the face of excess heat, judgment, or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. Beautiful confirmation. The camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water, and being responsible for one's own reactions. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips to faraway lands. When in balance, calm, content, sparkle in the eye. When out of balance, dehydrated and lacks vitality, and to bring into balance, a pilgrimage. Okay? Yay! Okay, let's get an archetype. Let's get an archetype. An archetype wants to come out. Beautiful. Alethea. Balance. On number 60, 77. 77. One of the initiations. Is it? Alethea. Truth. The truth. Old soul recognizes the truth. Our soul. Glasses. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Alethea. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can always recognize Alethea by its contagiousness. When we hear somebody speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Alethea card requires us to step towards an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's being concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. Okay, and this is part of your star shine, right? Is the stripping away and returning back to your original blueprint, your truth. When in light, clarity, revelation, and disclosure. When dark, distortions, gaslighting, and excuses. It is said that the resonance of our voice changes when we speak a falsity. In this light, practice seeing truth as a vibration. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Picasso said, "We all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize the truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand." Okay, Picasso. Okay, but look at this: masculine, feminine, light, dark, gorgeous, balance. Where's the light? There we go. Which way does it go? Nobody knows. Okay. Astro card. And I'll just read the gift part of it. We've got retrograde review. Okay, this is giving me this Four of Cups. Energy. A number fitting. Take a deep breath. This is a moment out of the ordinary flow, an opportunity to use what you've worked so hard to learn. Use your accumulated skills, knowledge, and maturity. Slow, steady, and thoughtful will win the race. Okay, that's validating this or clarity of mind, being able and open to receive messages and to discern which ones are for you and not for you, which ones are shadow and which are light. What feels good for the nervous system and what doesn't. Okay. Pull a couple of these from the bottom. We've got Speak Your Truth, Confirmation, beautiful, and Shine Bright Like a Diamond, because you're a star. Diamonds are earth stars. Diamonds are earth stars. Okay. And you are it. You are it. Is that it? I think that's it. There is the reading for today. Okay. They never go away. Where there is light, there is shadow. This is the world we live in. So change your perspective around the devils. See them as they are: adversity, resistance that makes you stronger. And own it. Own it, claim it, make it yours. This is what makes you the emperor. Able to receive the signs, change your world, cut away what doesn't serve you, and be at peace in your heart. Okay, love you, appreciate you. With gratitude, I say adieu and hope to see you next time. Bye.